Last major after Budapest, I had a take that I glazed myself for, okay? I removed my rib cage so I could bend over and suck myself. I just couldn't help it. And well, that take was about FaZe making the finals of Budapest being the worst thing that could happen for them. And so I think it's only fair that I call myself out for one of the worst takes that I've ever had regarding this major. The only really reason they're relevant, they're a fine tier 2 European team, you know, pretty decent floor, can compete with teams that are like 1.5, but overall, like, I don't have too much to say about them at this point. They've just been a stagnant good tier 1.5 team for a very long time now, and like they just don't really have any interesting players. They're just good. They're a good Russian tier 2 team. Realistically, they should make it out of stage 1 fairly easily and definitely could sneak into stage 3. Yep, that was my honest opinion about BetBoom. I didn't think highly of them at all. I thought Boomich was fine. I thought he was a bang average caller at best. I thought a part of the reason that Navi won that major was just simply due to firepower and simple. I thought Boomich was fine, okay? But I didn't really believe in him being a caller that could, you know, bring a team together and have them achieve more than what the sum of their parts was. And well, Big Boomy... he taught me a lesson here at Cologne, let me tell you what. Boomich might be the player that I have been the most wrong about ever, honestly. Because I was truly starting to doubt him. His time on BetBoom, I have not been impressed by one bit. And while here at Cologne, I have to give him his flowers, man. I think he truly just went on one of the most impressive major runs that I have ever seen. Bollockly challenged, Garmour speaking. Guys, if you would like to support me in the stuff I do here, check out the new long-term sponsor of the Garmour YouTube channel, SkinSwap. SkinSwap is the #1 place to trade your Rust or Counter-Strike skins for new ones where you can instantly upgrade your inventory. And if you use my code Garmour, you can get up to $50 on a free skin and a 3% lifetime selling bonus. And now you can also easily buy skins off the Chinese marketplace for cheaper prices than you ever could on the Western marketplaces. I truly think this is the best feature on any skin trading website, but if you are looking to sell, you can sell your skins for crypto, PayPal, Venmo, and a bunch of other withdrawal methods. Along with this, SkinSwap has a vault system now, which makes it the most rewarding skin trading website. And of course, don't forget the giveaways. And I think that's it. Thank you to them, thank you to you guys, and back to the video. Now to start, we gotta go back a little bit. I don't want to go too in-depth with Boomich history here, but he has made kind of a similar major playoff run to what BetBoom did here at Cologne, and that was when he first broke out with Quantum Bellator Fire at the E-League Boston Major in 2018, the glorious major that it was. And here he was the IGL of a tier 2 Russian team that drastically overachieved. They shouldn't have sniffed the playoffs in any universe. And let me list off some of the names on this roster to see if you guys know who any of these players are. If you were around during this time, you will, but let's just see. Balbina? Balbina? You guys fuck with Bulb? He's the current coach of K27, by the way. Kvik, JMQA, and lastly, Waterfalls. Who the fuck are these people? You're telling me Boomich brought these boys to a major playoffs? Well, yes, he did, and this is why he was so highly touted to begin his career, because this was an extraordinary achievement. But despite this extraordinary achievement, in my brain, I said, it was 8 years ago, okay? You know, maybe we're past this time. Can he really do this in the big 2026? Anyways, moving further in the timeline, he plays for Winstrike for a while and eventually gets the call up to Navi, where he plays under Zeus and is eventually going to be the team's caller, but isn't starting right away. And well, when Zeus does eventually retire, Navi looks good with him as their caller, going on to be, without a doubt, the strongest team in the world, kind of around the COVID era, 2021, where they win the Stockholm Major. But after 2021, Navi kind of falls off, and he eventually gets booted back to tier 2 jail, plays for one win for a while, eventually goes to Cloud9, where he does make the major playoffs with them at Copenhagen. This wasn't like a QBF situation. The players on Cloud9 were pretty fucking notable. Sure, the team was scuffed and they didn't have an AWPer, but they had Perfecto, Electronic, Hobbit, and Axile on the roster. So this team, in my opinion, wasn't super impressive for Boomich's resume, just because I thought they had enough firepower to make the playoffs even without an AWPer. But moving on. He stays on Cloud9 throughout the rest of 2024, eventually kind of looking halfway decent at the Shanghai Major, but they didn't make any deep runs or anything. And this is when he goes on to replace Nafany on BetBoom in 2025. And at the time, I'm like, it's a good move for a team like BetBoom. Nafany had been a terrorist on this team for a while now, and shortly after joining, BetBoom finally begins to qualify for majors, something they were never able to do prior to Boomich joining. So like that is, that's a tick on his resume. But throughout pretty much all of 2025, after making that Austin major, they did pretty much nothing. They were very, very mediocre in tier 2. Like they were a pretty decent tier 2 team. But in the entire year in 2025, they only won 3 B-tier tournaments. And there were players kind of coming in and out of the roster. It wasn't a super stable roster. Sure, it was mostly, tier 2 Russian players on the team with him. But for the most part, they just hadn't looked great. And then this kind of continues going into 2026 until out of nowhere, they beat Vitality at IEM Atlanta. Huh? We beat Vitality at IEM Atlanta. This is after they had failed to make the Budapest major and had been dead mediocre in tier 2. By all means, just a fine tier 2 team. They just came into IEM Atlanta and beat Vitality. And so I think this is kind of a fluke win. Vitality haven't been practicing. And I mean, the team that had been met in tier 2, they were just all firing on all cylinders on that day. They end up getting 4th at this tournament, and I think that's the end of it. It's a fluke tournament run. But oh my days, how fucking wrong was I? I mean, welcome to Goofyville. What was I thinking? Heading into Cologne, my main thoughts were, I think BetBoom is gonna make it out of stage 1. And then they probably fall out of stage 2. They're still just a fine tier 2 team. And to make things even worse, they've got 2 fucking stand-ins. Boomich, Magnojez, Zorte. We got Flamus standing in for the team because he's a player who, showed promise at one point. And, we don't really have a set roster. And then Siren also cannot attend this event, so Diladez has to stand in for him. BetBoom came into Cologne as a mediocre tier 2 team with 2 fucking stand-ins. That is how they came into this tournament. And I know that Boomich is a veteran caller with a ton of experience. Yes, he's a major winner. Yes, he made the playoffs with Cloud9. Yes, he had that breakout tournament with QBF. And maybe I'm in the wrong here, but I think what he did at Cologne with BetBoom is more impressive than what he did with QBF. I thought this dude was washed in CS2. I didn't think he had what it took. Despite that Cloud9 playoff run, I thought that was mostly just a firepower thing, and then they kind of got stomped when they made it there. But what we went on to see at Cologne is truly magical. For starters, BetBoom BetBoom get a free game. They have to play Gaming Gladiators. Then they play Liquid, another free game. And then they play Gamer Legion, who had looked pretty good heading into this. You would think Gamer Legion should easily beat BetBoom here, and BetBoom annihilate them. Easily go through stage 1 with 2 stand-ins, by the way. Mediocre tier 2 team before this, by the way. They easily go through stage 1 3-0, but like you can kind of see, they were one of the more favored teams to go 3-0 here. But along with this, the highest rated player in this entire stage is IGL Boomich with a 1.48 rating. You think to yourself, okay, BetBoom, you look pretty good, but can you keep this up? Let me tell you what, fellas, they kept it up. They get destroyed by Spirit in the first game of stage 2, but it's Spirit with Yabich, the greatest coach of all time. What do you expect? They then go on to play Gamer Legion once again, cooking them, absolutely destroy M80, and beat Monty 2-1 to go through stage 2 3-1. The second highest rated player here is Magnojez with a 1.47, just slightly behind Donk's 2.27 rating. And while Boomich didn't have, the individual performance he did in stage 1, BetBoom was looking and playing like a team who had been together for years. It's so easy to forget with how cohesive and how good they were playing as a team during these first 2 stages, that once again, they are a team of 3 players and 2 stand-ins. then I think you gotta give a hell of a lot of credit to Boomich, because one, he, despite not having a great rating in stage 2, has been playing very well individually, and this team together looks great. And it's not like you just have a bunch of top players on a team with an insane level of firepower. You know, Magnojez is good, don't get me wrong, but the way they looked is despicable for the situation that they're in. Then heading into stage 3 of the major, the team who looked like an average, I'm gonna keep saying it, looked like an average tier 2 team and has 2 stand-ins, beat Mongols and beat Falcons to go 2-0 in stage 3. The best teams in the world are here, by the way. They then have to play Furia, where they do lose, and then Vitality, where they do lose, and are in a 2-2 game against Foot. Where in this 2-2 game against Foot, it is not even fucking close. They win 13-7 and 13-7 to book their ticket into the Cologne Major Playoffs. Let me just put this into some more context for you as well, okay? In stage 3, they played Mongols, who HLTV ranked were number 9 in the world. Falcons, who were ranked number 4 in the world. Furia, who was ranked number 5 in the world. Vitality, who was ranked number 1 in the world. And Foot, who was ranked number 14 in the world. These motherfuckers played 4 top 10 teams. And Foot, they were underdogs in every single one of these 5 matches and still somehow qualified through to the playoffs. With 2 stand-ins, by the way. This is the type of shit Kerrigan does. This is a Kerrigan level of performance here from Boomich with better fragging. I mean, maybe this is taking it too far, but like quite literally at this major, Boomich is doing what Kerrigan does with Signet. He's Kerrigan, but he can kill people. Do you guys understand how unfathomably insane that is? Kerrigan, but you can kill people. New greatest IGL in the game, hello. And I'm not even saying 2026 Kerrigan. You know, this is like phase level type Kerrigan. We're used to take rosters with stand-ins and win whole goddamn tournaments. And sure, BetBoom probably aren't gonna win this entire tournament, but like just the fact that they made the playoffs with only a 10% chance to do so on Polymarket is insane to me. I feel like I just need to give Boomich my full apology for ever doubting him. I discredited him when he won the major with Na'Vi and Simple. You know, sure, he's probably a good caller, but you have Simple and Electronic and Bit and Perfecto on the team. I discredited him when Cloud9 made the playoffs. Like, sure, Cloud9 was dysfunctional as fuck, but look at the firepower on the team. And I gave up on him when he was in BetBoom because sure, they looked better and had finally qualified to a major, but then they missed the next one and they had looked mediocre in tier 2. Yo, as I'm recording this, the BetBoom Aurora game is going on and bro's 0-12 right now. 0-13 now in an elimination game against Aurora. Yo, that's truly my bad, cousin. I don't know why I have this effect on players. I'm so sorry. Maybe we take back the Kerrigan with fragging stuff. Maybe he's actually just exactly like Kerrigan. But like, this isn't me saying Boomich is a better caller than Kerrigan, okay? And I do think a lot of other people in the space have given him the respect he deserves. I feel like I was kind of on an island saying that he was, you know, an average caller. And I would just like to apologize and say I was horribly wrong. Because in my opinion, he just went on one of the greatest major runs that I have quite literally ever seen. From stage 1 to the playoffs, calling an average tier 2 team with 2 stand-ins. That is fucking unbelievable. Yeah, that's it for me today, fellas. Leaving a like if you liked, subscribing if you want to subscribe, turn on notifications if you want to be notified. And yeah, that's it for me, fellas. I will see you guys next time.